Hello, everyone. This is Mr. Informal back with a new Mr. Informal podcast. I go by the name of Mr. Informal. This is the 91 podcast of the Mr. Informal. So, it is Sunday. Not only that, spring is soon will be here. And don't forget to add me on Instagram, MisterInformal. And check out my website, mrinformal.com. That's MRINFORMAL.com. So these are the 4 topics for today. Human interaction is still important to consumers. That's number 1. Number 2, online deliveries will overrun cities in a couple years. That's going to be interesting. Number 3, online, and this based on the trends, will soon kill up to 30,000 stores. I'm not sure about 30,000. And then number 4, last but not least, Express. Yes, one of my favorite stores will have a lot of closure. So those are the 4 topics for today for the 91 podcast. And so let's go ahead and start it off. First topic for this podcast, based on the article from Retail Dive, human interaction is still king for consumer shopping in stores. So a recent study found that 64% of consumers prefer to engage with associates over robots while shopping in store. Still, 30% indicated that they prefer using a retail mobile app in store, according to a Sensormatic Solutions survey of more than 1,100 respondents. As for the other in-store technology, 40% of consumers use retailers buy online, pick up in-store services regularly, and 31% of shoppers use buy online, return in-store services frequently. The report also found that more than 3/4 of respondents want grocery stores to include self-checkout options, while just over 50% want that services at convenience and department stores. 55% of consumers said that they either always or usually use self-checkout to buy items in store, and 61% cited using self-checkout because it's faster than human associate, according to the report. First of all, I disagree with these so-called respondents that 61% cited using self-checkout because it's faster than human associate. No, human associates are much faster. It's not faster because you are waiting in line. That's why, and not a lot of people go to the self-checkout. You see, when a human associate, or whatever you want to call it, a cashier, is actually processing these items for you to buy, of course there's going to be some troubles. That's not the person's fault. So that's a good thing that's out of the way. Another thing is, I prefer a human interaction, because when I go to stores, I want to see services. I'm not gonna depend on these mobile apps, these robots, whatever you want to call them. A human interaction is still there. If there is no human interaction, why are the prices of goods still rising? Shouldn't it be going down? Because you're not paying somebody else to do a job here. So I still don't understand why we're still going through this. Not only that, when you're looking for something, a human interaction is much better because for the most part, they know where it is. The only bad part is that this, in regards to training, a lot of managers are just too lazy to train these people, these associates, such as where certain items are, what are the specials, what are on sale, what are not on sale. That's why I hate these selective sales. I prefer all items on sales. So the last paragraph of the article says there is a growing dialogue that technology will replace the need for face-to-face interaction and promote the digitalization of everything. But that's not necessarily the case. While there is no denying that technology and automation are helping businesses streamline process and decision making, our survey proves that traditional customer engagement is alive and well. And this is certainly true for customer service, meaning when you call, everyone hates to talk to that automation. Let's just get to the point and talk to somebody. That is the point. And I mean, I don't know how hard it is. I don't know what these people are saying. Oh, I prefer robots better than humans. Really? I mean, when it comes to actually going to the store, and yes, there are associates who do a bad job at it, but there are also associates who do great. So we can't, judge all of them. We can say the same thing with robots. Robots are dead. It's a yes or no thing, so and so. But if you're looking for a specific item, a human is just better at it. On to the second topic, another article from Supply Chain Dive. E-commerce deliveries will overrun cities in 1 to 3 years. In 1 to 3 years, cities will severely challenged by e-commerce driven delivery traffic, but existing technology and policy fixes can help quell the result carbon emission and congestions if implemented quickly. The studies have analyzed 24 last mile technology, including drones, robots, and unmanned deliveries, drop boxes, locker systems, and other ways of consolidating orders, along with non-tech changes including increased double parking enforcement, delivery time shifts, traffic lights interventions, and road lane changes. The best scenario, according to WEF, is the one that takes into account that carriers' interest in fewer disruption and faster deliveries alongside cities' desire for lower emission and less congestions. This combined scenario would include electric vehicles, night deliveries, multi-brand parcel locker, dynamic rerouting, and load pooling. These interventions could reduce emissions by 35%, units cost by 15%, and congestion by 25%. So first and foremost, I can see this happening, but let me get one thing out of the way. Number one, they're talking about carbon emissions, or let's just say one of them is pollutions, okay? Because when you have more deliveries, absolutely more vehicles on the road. That's a systematic problem. Number one, the auto industry need to be fuel efficient. Why are we still use the internal combustion? Why are we still use gasoline? And don't tell me about electric cars, because electric cars, the battery is from fossil fuels. And how is that made? Of course, fossil fuels, gasoline. So look, even if you do certain have a drop-off sites or certain location, a pickup location, whatever, it's still being delivered. Not only that, let's not do nighttime deliveries, because that's to me that's absolutely ridiculous. Okay, that needs to be cut out. I think the best case scenario is that obviously air delivery, drone delivery, because you don't have to go through traffic, you don't have to go through traffic lights, road lane changes, none of that. So these type of things are absolutely ridiculous. They're getting so detailed, like road lane changes, double parking enforcements. Like, really? It's absolutely ridiculous. Now, I actually think that if you're really gonna talk about that, how about fix the traffic light? Oh, I don't know. Every half mile, the lights are the same, or sequentials, or on a sequence. And a lot of roads need remodeling or renovations. How about roads? How about roads that needs to be fixed? These bumps. What about that? So, hopefully there's a better drone technology out there and we can stop talking about this. But there's gonna be like air traffic. There's gonna be too much batteries we using. How about just use hydrogen? I've been talking about hydrogen for a long time. What's hydrogen at when you see your exhaust pipe? What does it come out? Water. Anyways, I don't disagree with the article because I agree with certain things, but it's a systematic problem. It's a systematic change. When you're talking about deliveries, it's not just delivery vehicles. It's also vehicles that's being road driven. It doesn't have to be for delivery. Oh, and what about Grubhub, Uber Eats, Postmates? Yes, I know they're not online e-commerce, but again, that's still food delivery. It's a systematic problem. So, an article from Retail Dive: e-commerce could kill 30,000 stores or 30K stores and 500,000 jobs by 2025. Really? E-commerce has been a net negative, an agent of destruction for retail industry writ large, according to a new study from credit insurance company Euler Hermes. The study found out 56,000 stores, or 10.7% of discretionary retail footprint, have closed in the US, and 670,000 net jobs, that's 10.6% of the total, have been lost since 2008. More, 41% of retailers have been seeing the profit margin decrease in that time frame. These various retail losses have tracked with the expansion of e-commerce, which has grown well ahead of other retail segments at 10.5% annually. But for every job created in e-commerce, 4.5 jobs are lost by traditional stores, according to a new study. And the bloodletting could continue, according to a study's author, so and so, blah blah blah. And then it says, estimate that continued e-commerce penetration could eliminate another 500,000 jobs and 30,000 retail establishments by 2025. Well, first of all, let's get things one straight. Retailers, the retail environment is changing. It's changing. That's all there is to it. First of all, you need service. You need to have the right item. The store needs to be the right theme, and obviously you could have a walk, and you gotta have the right people. And lastly, you got to have a correct procedures and process, because you gotta have an online presence and you gotta have a store presence. You gotta have a store pickup, or maybe delivery to store, or whatever you want to say, or whatever you gotta do. You gotta have that. And second of all, you gotta have the stock. When you go to the store and it's there, it's quick. But again, you gotta have the stock. You gotta have a system where it shows inventory. If it's coming down, then you gotta ship more to that store. You can't wait, and you can't lose customers with that. You're gonna lose potential sales to here. And then, so why am I not surprised this is happening? Well, because I guess these retailers are not adapting to the change in the retail environment. I mean, it could be the number of things. That could be number one. Number two is that they don't really care. And then number three, they don't have the right management or the CEO to make those changes, or maybe to say, hey, we need to make these changes. They're not innovating. Come on. If Nordstrom is surviving, and if Costco is surviving, if Walmart is surviving, and Target is surviving, why can't these stores cannot survive? And don't tell me, oh, they are a big brand. Okay, they're a big brand, and yet we have Louis Vuitton. They're surviving. I mean, we have the luxury goods. I mean, look, they still have stores. H&M is surviving. Zara is surviving. So I'm really confused here. It just doesn't make sense that, I mean, actually no, let me go back. It makes sense that these e-commerce are killing retail stores, but these retail stores are not understanding why people love going to e-commerce. I mean, it's absolutely ridiculous. Again, you got to have the right people in these stores, and if you don't, it's gonna keep failing. And you gotta have the right product, and the product has to be in stock. I mean, it's crazy. And so the last topic for this podcast, one of my favorite stores, Express, to shutter 100 stores. An article from Retail Dive. Express on Wednesday said it would shutter 100 stores by 2022, including 9 already closed last year, 31 by the end of this month, and 35 by the end of January 2021. And the company, as of November 2019, operated more than 600 stores, according to a document filed with the Securities and Exchange Commission, that's SEC. Express will also aim for savings through negotiations as stores' leases come up for renewal. According to CFO Perry, the closure and other brick and mortar adjustment are in addition to a 3-year, $80 million expense reduction plan that will entail finding efficiencies in e-commerce and marketing and supply chains. Periculus said the cost cut include 10% of corporate workforce reduction and announced earlier this month. At the meeting, in a press release, CEO Tim Baxter also represented a turnaround strategy that goes beyond closures and cost cuts, including new loyalty programs, store credit card coming this fall, that takes into account casualization of fashion and training for staff to help customer styling advice. The retailer said it will also expand its in-store pickup service for online orders. Wow, really? So, the previous CEO sucks, David Kornberg. This guy named Tim Baxter, I don't think he's doing a great job. Really? Including he's planning out a new loyalty program and store credit. Why wasn't that made last year? I mean, Tim Baxter arrived mid-2019. Why didn't you just do that? I mean, why couldn't you just come in and make a plan already? I mean, not only that, and training for store staff to help customers with styling advice. And you couldn't do that a long time ago? I mean, it's really, the worst part about this is that these are just common sense type fix and plans, and for some reason they have not figured out. The problem with Express, every time I go there, sizes are not there. I mean, I don't know where the department of long sleeve shirts, short sleeve shirts, they're just everywhere. Like, they need to make a theme. And I'm not just talking about men's, I see it in women's too. The accessories are all always in the back. Why do they need to be in the back? I want to know. Can't they just be on the side? Why? I mean, okay, fine. If you want to talk about security, okay, put it next to the cashier. But sometimes it's not even there. So they're everywhere. It reminds me of Gap here. See, I like Express because they fit me. They fit me pretty well. It's almost as close as getting tailored. And here's another thing I don't understand, okay? So, the retailer said it will also expand its in-store pickup service for online orders. You couldn't do that like a couple years ago. J. Crew been doing that, and yet Express is not doing that. They're not. Why don't you just do it for all stores? Just do that. See, I know I'm passionate about this because look, if Express dies, I don't really care. If they survive and they're making more money, hey, that's absolutely a wonderful story. But you see, these type of fixes are just, oh my goodness, it's common sense, easy fixes. You just gotta have the right people, the right product. I mean, it's pretty obvious that you have the right product. And why do you need NBA marketing? Why? You just take out the NBA marketing. But anyways, that's what I think of that. And so that concludes this 91 edition of the Mr. Informal podcast. I go by the name of Mr. Informal. I hope you learned something today. I hope I taught you something today. And I hope you enjoyed listening to me. Don't forget to add me on Instagram, MISTERINFORMAL, or check out my website, mrinformal.com, MRINFORMAL.com. And so, I will see you in the next podcast. Bye bye.